The power of walking away from a woman. How do you demonstrate the willingness to walk away? When do you walk away? And what do you do that makes it so powerful? That's what Chris and I are going to be discussing in today's video. How's it going, guys? I'm Bobby Rio. I'm here with Chris Anderson.
What's up, guys?
And Chris has been doing a lot of coaching with our clients recently, and a topic that's been coming up over and over again with a lot of the guys he works with, I see this the same with the students that I work with, is this misunderstanding about walking away from a woman and how you can do it in micro ways throughout a relationship that keeps her chasing you, keeps you from losing that ground with her, losing that attraction, and also just gives you that mental clarity of saying, hey, I can walk away when I want to. So Chris and I are going to talk about, I think, 5 or 6 ways that you can do this throughout various stages of an interaction with a woman to get that power of walking away. So Chris, why don't you talk a little bit about what you're seeing from your clients and maybe their struggle with this concept of walking away?
Yeah, if we wanted to make this simple and we wanted to break the game down into 3 categories, I would say humor, challenge, and walking away, right? If you really just want to simplify it. But what we've noticed is the walking away part, a lot of guys aren't using that because you'd think, oh, okay, I'm going to walk away from her, but you're waiting for something big to happen, some kind of big breakup or blow up. What we're saying is you can start using this right away. So I have my little note card here and I wrote something down. Women always leave first at everything. What do you think about that? Women always leave first at everything. They leave the conversation first. They leave the text messaging first. They end the date first. They stop the kissing first. So really what we want to do here is steal her frame. We want to be the ones, at least part of the time, to be the ones to end things first.
Yeah, I think you said something even before that I think is a good clarification, because I know that whenever I bring this idea up of walking away, whether I'm doing it with a client or I'm just posting something on Instagram or Facebook, a little video clip, I think a lot of guys think that entitles you to give a woman an ultimatum. Hey, if you don't start respecting me or you don't make your mind up about me, I'm gone. And we both found, and if you've ever done this with a woman, you probably realize ultimatums never work, right? Most of the time they don't work, because by the time you do it, you've already lost so much attraction, but also it puts pressure on her. And a lot of times she knows you're not actually going to walk away. So bring back to what Chris said, one of the things we want to show you in this video is that in order to have that power of walking away, she has to see you as a guy who will walk away, right? Because you don't want to be the guy throwing an empty challenge out there, right? Hey, because the worst thing you could do is come back with your tail between your legs a week after giving a woman an ultimatum and say, hey, I know I said that I didn't want to talk to you anymore.
So that's the total opposite of this.
So what we want to go over is some of the ways that before you even get to that point with her, you're demonstrating these subtle ways of walking away so that she always has that concept in her mind of, I can lose. This guy I'm not his entire world. And if I'm not giving him the attention he wants, deserves, he is totally fine walking away. Let's go back through and let's give guys some tangible examples of ways that they can demonstrate this willingness to walk away by actually walking away in these micro sort of situations.
Yeah, so what's cool is walking away starts as soon as you meet her. Whoa, walking away starts the minute you meet her. So it could be something like you're out at a party, you're at a social event. You go over and you talk to her. But one of the things you want to show right away is that you could walk away. What do most guys do? What do we all do?
Yeah.
As soon as we're in that conversation, we want to stay forever. We're there, we're talking 10 minutes, 20 minutes. The first thing you can show is actually just leaving for a second. Hey, I'm going to go check on my friend.
Long before I studied dating advice, right? Back when I was in college and like me and my friends, we would always get together and talk about what we had to do to get girls, but we weren't like we are now, where we really understand the psychology. We were just at parties testing stuff out. And one of the first moves that me and my friends figured out is exactly what you said. Girls would come to our house for parties, and there would always be those guys, like you said, the hungry guy that the minute they get a little taste of the meat, they just won't leave the girl. And what we realized is the best thing that we could do at these parties was talk to her, flirt with her, get her attention, and then be like, hey, I'll be right back. And then just go leave her for a little while. And and now she's wondering, oh, like, and where did he go? What did he? And she's not used to that because she's used to, like you said, the other guys. At the minute they start talking to her, they're like, oh, I can't leave her because if I leave her, she's gonna forget about me, or some other guy's gonna come over. But you get so much more power of the dynamic by walking away. And one of the things that you just brought up, this idea of false time constraints, this was something that you and I probably learned years ago when we were studying sort of the pickup artist realm, when we were going out to bars and clubs and meeting women that way. It's where you use a simple phrase as you're approaching a woman. You walk up to her and you're like, hey, I got to get back to my friends in a second, but I just want to come over and introduce myself. I'm Bobby, how's it going? Or whatever opening line you wanted to use. But by using this false time constraint, you're showing her, hey, you only have a little bit of time with me. I'm going to leave. Now, you're also doing that to get some of the pressure off of her so that she's not, oh my God, I'm going to get stuck with this guy all night. You're letting her know, hey, I'm not going to take all your time. I got to get back to my friends. So it has two sort of things there. And this concept of the false time constraint, you and I have also been having our clients do it, right? Because a lot of times we're working with a guy who maybe he's trying to get back with an ex-girlfriend, or maybe he messed up with some woman and now he wants a second chance with her. And what we figured out is that a lot of times these women, even though we're doing things, we're having the clients do things that are reigniting some of that attraction, but the woman still has her guard up, right? She's, oh, if I go meet him, I might lead him on, and she's not sure what she wants yet. So a very simple thing we've had clients do is say, hey, listen, it's got to be an early night. I got a busy day at work tomorrow. Why don't we just meet for an hour before I head here? I have a meeting at 6, but I got about an hour before then. Let's grab a quick drink. Because now you're like showing her, I'm going to leave. You don't have to be worried that I'm going to stick with you. And you have that time control, right? Because as you said in the very beginning, women are very used to having that time control. If everything is on their time frame, and the sooner you can put things on your time frame, the more of the power you have in the dynamic. So that definitely something we've noticed. What are some of the other ways of these?
Again, you could do it as soon as you meet her. This is a very small one and a funny one, maybe from back in the day. You're talking to a girl and you're talking about football and she goes, oh, I'm a Jets fan. You go, oh, you're a Jets fan? And you turn your back on her as a joke and you turn back. It's 1 second. Guys, it takes 1 second to do that. By turning your back, you're saying, I can walk away. No, it's not a big thing. It's not a big blow up. It's a 1 second thing you do that shows, hey, I can walk away. The message is sent. Oh, this guy, if I say the wrong thing, I do the wrong thing. Obviously, it's playful. He can leave. So I thought that was a good one. I'll just add another quick one. Again, this is all for just meeting women. You get her phone number. You're at your bar. You're at your favorite bar. You got her number. Leave the bar, right? If that's it for tonight, if you've done what you need to do, get out of there. Don't stay there all night. She's seeing you from across the thing for hours. You got the number. Show I can walk away. But Chris, it's my favorite bar and it's 10-cent wing nights. I don't care. Show you can get out of there. Get her number and live to fight another day. Call her for a date.
Here's another place that this is you have to do it in this situation. You're at a party, a bar, wherever. You're talking to a girl. You're hitting it off. Things are going well. And then some other guy comes over and she starts talking to him and he's like into you still, but she's trying to make you jealous. Maybe he's just aggressive. And the worst thing you can do is just stand there like, hey. At that point you go, hey, I'm gonna let you two talk. I'm gonna go grab a drink. I'll be back in a little bit. And you just walk away. And now she's, oh my God, he just walked away. And almost always she'll excuse herself from that guy and come and find you. Whereas if you stand there like the chump while he's talking to her and you're just like drinking your beer, your value is just diminishing by the second. So
I remember that happening to me. A really attractive. It's always when it's like a cool guy, just like was talking cool, looking cool. I'm like, oh no. I'm like, I don't want to leave this, but you have to walk away, especially when the guy's super attractive. And like you said, then she finds you later. That guy was creepy. He was weird. And you're thinking, yep, if I stayed there the whole time, I would have been that guy.
Let's go over another way that guys can use this concept of walking away, demonstrating micro ways of walking away.
Yeah, these are very small ways, guys. So this has to do with the phone, right? Either texting or phone calls. What we notice with clients is obviously once you start texting a girl, you want to text forever. That could just go all night. Chris, we texted for 4 hours. We got deep. One of the things you want to do, even if you made that mistake, let's say you texted for an hour and I said, oh my God, what are you doing? At least if you're the one to end it, if you say, listen, I'm going to call it a night. And I want everyone at home to write this down. I'm gonna call it a night. What you're doing is you're calling it. You're the one saying, I'm ending it. And even if you did text for too long, that at least puts in her head, he can walk away, he can get out of there. And you want to do that before she's the one like, yeah, okay, it's been fun, I'm going to bed. And then you're like, oh man, did too much.
Yeah, and you always, there's always, it's very subtle thing, right? There's these power dynamics that exist everywhere. You don't want to be the one hanging on a little too long. You want to be the one that has the intuitiveness to go, all right, we're hitting that point where she's probably, it's winding down, let me end it. The next thing that we were talking about is, and we talk about this a lot, is the idea behind, okay, you make a date with a woman or you invite a girl out, right? You're talking to her, you're like, hey, Friday night, I got this cool restaurant I want to go to. Why don't we go? And she goes, oh, I'm not sure yet. Can I let you know? Right? Maybe this is on a Tuesday. Right. Now Wednesday comes, she still hasn't let you know. It's like by Thursday morning, you have to, what do you call it? Take the offer off the table.
Oh, you politely withdraw the offer, right? It's like when you make an offer to a girl to go on a date, you're giving them an offer. Here you go. Here's my offer. And what basically when they're giving you a maybe, they're saying, this is a pretty cool offer. Let me put it to the side and see if any better offers come in, right? Now you think you're being the casual guy, the no worries. Yeah, let me know if your friend from college comes in. You're thinking I'm being cool. But really, it lowers your value because you're saying my offer to you doesn't have that much value that you want to take it. So what you want to do is politely, again, you don't lose your cool. Hey, you tell me right now I'm a high value guy. No, you go, oh, your friend from college might be coming in. Let's just make it some other time then, right? You take that offer away. You don't make it a maybe offer. Now, what you're hoping that she goes, oh, no, it's okay. It's okay. Yes, I can definitely make it. I can definitely make it. That's what you want. Let's say at home you're thinking, man, Chris, I can't do that. At the very least, set a deadline. Okay, don't leave it open-ended. Hey, my friend from college might be coming in. I'm not sure yet. You go, totally cool. Let me know by like Wednesday around 6. If not, I'm gonna probably be doing something else. A soft deadline.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many clients I've worked with over the years where it's like Friday night and they had asked her like early in the week and it's Friday and they're like, Bobby, she still hasn't given me an answer yet. What should I do? I go, you should have removed, if you asked her out on a Monday and now it's Friday, you've got to cancel. At this point, what I always say is if you made that mistake and you're like, if you're watching this and you're like, oh shit, just send her a message, at least going, hey, if she hasn't gotten back to you, just go, hey, didn't hear back. So I made other plans. I'll touch base next week. Maybe we can figure out something that works. So you're still, even though
still getting out,
getting that, hey, I made other plans. And then you're also, the benefit is, you're telling her, hey, I made other plans. I'll hit you up next week. Maybe we can see a day that works. So you're allowing yourself to go and reach out to her again because you were the one to officially end it. Whereas if you just let Friday come and go, she never responded. Now you're in the position of you're in a very weak position.
Just so everyone at home knows, they never respond. They never get back to you. That's the thing. I just was working with a client. This exact thing happened. He actually went to the date and showed up and sat there by himself. She never showed up. She never let him know. So they're not going to let you know. You need to cut it off. And I don't blame them because when you accept a maybe date, their interest goes down just by you accepting it. They may want to feel something for you, but man, this is a guy who accepts maybe dates. I'm less interested in him. Now I don't want to see him Friday night. So really our point here is show you can walk away from a maybe date because that's powerful.
Here's another one that's even more powerful, right? And I've done this back when I was single and going out, and it's similar to the girl who gives you it's not a maybe, right? There's always the other girls who start the date off with, I'm really tired today. I'll meet for a little bit, right? Now, in that case, it's almost always better to say, hey, if you're not feeling up to it, let's, because you don't want her having that excuse built in. But if you made the mistake, or if you've just been in the situation, I can remember a date I went on where I got out there and the girl was just in such a bad day at work and she was just not being fun. She just was like distracted. Who knows? Maybe she had her ex-boyfriend was backing up. Who knows what the situation was? All I know was I was bored. I was sitting there going, she's like giving me nothing. Now, a lot of guys will keep going, and I'm like, you know what? This isn't going anywhere. Thinking to myself. So I remember I went to the bathroom and I was like looking in the mirror, going like, but there's like, why am I sitting here trying to entertain this girl that is just? And I walk back and I go, hey, listen, you don't seem like you're in too fun of a mood tonight. Why don't we just do this when you're, maybe another day when you're feeling more up for it? And I just said, hey, waiter, when I paid the check, and she was shocked. She hit me up 2 days later. She goes, did I do something to upset you or like whatever? And
But they
did. It wasn't a fun night. I'm like, listen, I get it. You weren't in the mood, but I'm not gonna hang out if you're not in the mood to hang out. And it was like way more respect out of her than had I sat there rewarding her bad behavior, trying to be even funnier and trying to get her to do shots and just buying. It's like, you don't want to reward bad behavior. If you're getting bad behavior, and I don't want to sound like a dick when I say this, but too many guys, when a girl's giving them nothing to work with, they reward her with more attention, right? She's being moody and they're like, oh, and they try to turn into an entertainer, trying to get her in a good mood, or hey, let's do some shots, or hey, no, just walk away, right?
Might do that once, right? Oh, she's a little down, maybe I'll get her up.
Yeah.
But if you've done one or two things, you're being a little humorous and they're still doing it, then you're a clown.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying the minute you walk into a date, sometimes you got to give a girl a chance to warm up. I'm saying I had been hanging out with her an hour and I was like, this is just a waste of my time, right? And we've all been in that situation. And that's something to do. And it's not just an attraction technique, right? Because at the end of the day, that girl that this happened with, I knew I wasn't that into her anyway. And I wasn't doing this move to attract her. I was doing it because I really just was like not having a good time. Now, the added benefit of this is you're training yourself to go, hey, I can walk away, right? Even if it's a girl, you're not doing it like, hey, I want to make this girl more attractive to me, so I'm going to walk away. It's, hey, if I'm not getting what I want out of something, if I'm not enjoying myself, or if I'm not getting investment out of this situation, I'm going to walk away.
By the way, the point, not walking away forever, just so everybody knows, right? We're just walking away. Yeah, you walked away for the night. So walking away, it conjures up, I'm walking away forever. He walked away for the night and came back.
Now we'll talk about it. There is times that I've done the walk away with, and I always tell this story where I was in an emotional quicksand over this girl, going nuts, and then something happened and she had been mixing, the typical thing that we've all gone through, right? Where some girls just messing with your head, whatever. And finally I just was like, I didn't give her the ultimatum, right? I didn't like be like, hey, I'm done. I was just like, something happened. And that night I walked away and I never contacted her again. And then I forget how, maybe 6 months later, I miss you. I get the text, she wants to hang out. And then I'm like, at this point, I'm like, do I meet up with her? I'm like, but you still have that, you want that completion. So I met up with her. She's like, I always had this connection with, she starts telling me all this stuff. And I'm like, most guys would have stuck around trying to, and then that would never have happened, because part of the reason that happened was it was like, oh, wait a minute, I lost this guy by my shitty things. I thought he was going to be there. I thought he was going to be my backup plan, or whatever she was thinking, right? It's, no, I'm not going to be, right? So,
yeah.
Let's talk about some of the other, that's a major way to do it. I just wanted to throw that out there because you said we're not talking about major. There is a time, right? And if you're in emotional quicksand with some girl who's just completely just messing with you, walking away is your best move in a lot of
most powerful thing, but it doesn't have to come to,
it doesn't have to be.
These are small ways. So speaking of dates, which we were talking about, what about the first date? What can you show on that very first date? What I've noticed with clients is, like with the texting, man, Chris, the first date, how long was it? It was like 7 or 8 hours around the boardwalk for 10. I go, whoa. I go, that's a little long there. It's great, but you want to take your winnings. You had a great first date and get out of there and leave on a high note. I know you feel like you want to keep it going, and maybe she even feels, let's keep this going. But if she starts to get bored and she's looking at her phone and she yawns, even if you had the greatest time, right? Say me and you hung out, we had a great time, then it's 2 a.m. It's ending on yawning and I'm tired. You want it to end on a high note. So again, cut it a little shorter. Say, hey, it's been fun. Let me take you home. And then you're the one
ending. Yeah. Now I'm gonna throw a caveat to that, right? Because there's to me, there's 2 ways a date can go, right? There's a first date can go, like you said, we hung out for 5 hours. I didn't kiss her, but we had such a connection. You're done. Like you're done, right? Or even we hung out, we kissed, it was great, but we hung out for 5 hours. And then she went home, she got tired. It was like you peaked and then you went down, right? Now, on the other hand, there's 2 ways, right? If logistically, it's very likely you're going to go home with her. I always say go home with her, right? Because logistically, if she's making comments like, oh yeah, I don't have work tomorrow, or she's going to be giving you that little comments like, hey, it's a good night for me. Take that opportunity. But if that's not going to happen, if she has work tomorrow and whatever,
Yeah.
create a high. It doesn't even have to be kissing. It could be what you call the mutual hand caress,
Right.
something that solidifies, like, all right, because you don't want to end it without having that some element of escalation. Because if 8 o'clock comes and you guys were talking and then you end it without ever solidifying the attraction, it's not as easy to get back to where you were on the next date. Right. But if you end it with you guys rubbing each other's hands and talking, and then you're like, hey, listen, it's getting late, but let's do this again. Let's do this again sometime, right? Now you've ended on a high note. You've solidified the attraction with the mutual hand caressing, or if you can kiss her, but then you end it, right? Because now you're ending on a high note. Whereas no matter how good of a time you're having for 7 hours, if you didn't get a kiss and you end it, you really didn't accomplish much, right?
They're just not used to guys ending things first and walking away. Guys will go on the date forever. So these are just, again, little ways for her to go, whoa, he likes me, but he can actually walk away early, which puts you in a great position. So speaking of the kiss, this is another one I had on my list here, that first kiss, right? When that first kiss happens, we're so excited, we're loving it. What do we always do? We're going to kiss her until she stops. She pulls back. She pulls away. Right? So what you can do to reverse it is, and it's hard in the moment because you're so into it, you kiss her and you be the one to pull back first, especially on the first kiss, to set that frame of, hey, I like you, I'm going to kiss you, but you might have to work a little harder to get me.
Yeah, a concept, and this plays out throughout the night, right? A concept that I had learned years ago was 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
That's
so
good.
Right, you go for the kiss, you're moving things forward, and then you take the step back so that she has the opportunity to chase, and she's always feels like you're moving things forward, but then you're pulling back. And whether even when you're back at the place, right, you're escalating, it's like you do stuff and then you can pull back a little bit and give her that space to always be the one a little bit chasing, as opposed to, like you're saying, aggressively, like not being willing to end the kiss. And just these little differences make a big difference in terms of.
By the way, she attacks you when you do this. Everybody, yeah. I mean, every client that I've told to do this, and it's, oh, after that, she attacked me all night, which is great. And it's what girls want, because now we're giving them what they want. They want to it's fun for them to chase you. We're not doing all this for us to say, yeah, man, a girl's chasing me. Yeah, I'm the man. It's you're giving her the fun. Wow, I'm chasing him. I'm attacking him. I usually don't get to do it this way. This is fun for me. So that's what all these things do. If anyone at home thinking,
I had a client do that, the walk away, where he was borderline friend zone with a girl, and she was like, they would still mess around, but she'd always be like, I don't know if we should be doing this. I go, next time she says that, just stop. Don't try to convince her. So he just rolled over. I go, roll over, look at your phone, and just don't even. And he goes, 10 minutes later, she was climbing on top of him, being all seductive. Yeah. And I'm like, that's fun. She wants to seduce. She wants to be seductive. When she doesn't have to work and she's like, all right, I can wear my friggin' pimple cream on my face and this guy's still all over me. She wants to have to put a little effort in to get you into her, to be seductive. So let her do that. It's fun for her, like you said.
Yeah, it's fun for women. So really today, guys, these were just things, subtle ways, right from the beginning, not I had to wait a week, a month, a year, right from the moment you meet her, you could show, I can walk away. And again, this is about in a game, like pretending you don't like her. It's I like you. I think the most powerful thing a man can do, manliness, is I like you, but I can walk away from you. Anybody can walk away from something they don't like. So I think it's really powerful when you show that, hey, I'm into you, hey, I like you, but I have self-control and patience and I can calmly walk away from you.
So, cool. So I just want to say, because every time I have Chris on one of these videos, I get 50 emails from guys afterwards going, hey, Chris mentioned clients. How do I get in touch with them? So we're going to put a link below to check out the different, if you're interested in working with Chris. But Chris, give them a 30-second idea of what that process is like. Because a lot of guys are like, what does it mean? You have clients and I'm so confused. What do you actually do with these clients? How do you work with them? So give them an idea for the guys that might be interested in learning a little bit about what coaching entails.
My new buzzword is recipe. I do an assessment of you. You probably have a few ingredients there that are good. Hey, I'm pretty humorous. Hey, sometimes I can do this. But I look at the full meal, right? You might be missing something. If you watch this video today, maybe you were missing the willingness to walk away. We're going to add that spice to the total dish. I want to see who you are, what you're all about, and where the little areas we can improve. And by the way, all these ingredients, so to speak, work together. I teach a lot of humor, right? But Chris, I was funny, I was humorous, but you just can't be a one-trick pony. It's not all humor. You have to mix that with being a challenge. Hey, Chris, I value my time and I'm funny. Yeah, but you never showed her the willingness to walk away. All these ingredients work together to get that perfect meal, that perfect recipe that attracts a girl. You asked about what coaching is. That's what we look at. We assess you. Where are you good? Where do you need the help? Where do you need to improve? All these things need to work together for it to really get the one girl you want. That's what coaching is all about.
Yeah, I'll just leave the last thing that I'll say about coaching is that really a huge benefit that guys get is it's just that third perspective, okay? Because you can hear us, even like the difference between watching a YouTube video, right? So you watch this video and you're like, oh, I get it, the power of walking away. And you go home and you're interacting with your girl, and then something goes wrong, and then I don't know what went wrong. And then you talk to a guy like Chris or myself or one of the other coaches that we have, and you're going over something and you're like, I was hanging out with this girl, and then you're like, wait a minute, but you didn't walk away. There was an opportunity to walk away. So
you might not see it.
In your own mind. You're like so in the situation that you're not realizing like, oh wait, that's where I could have done the walk away. Oh, that's where I could have done this, right? There's all these things you might hear and know theoretically, but you're never able to see how you could have applied it in a situation. And that's, I think, one of the big benefits that at least clients have told me is, oh my God, you've told me about that all the time. I've heard you talk about that. But then when I'm out, I never remember to do it, or I didn't know that. And then I tell them, that's right there, you could have done it. And then the next time I talk to them, I told you that guy who did that freeze out. He's like, right. He wrote, the subject line was like, you are always right. And he was like, wrote this long thing about how she attacked him. And I'm like, yeah, like these things work. But had you not had a coach to go, okay, first off, sometimes it's pointing out when you could do it, but it's also going, just do it, right? Because a lot of times you're nervous. So
yeah.
I want to do it. Like, just trust me. Just if I'm telling you to do this, it's because it's going to work. So,
yeah. By the way, we've seen these cases millions of times. So we have a little bit of an emotional distance from it. You're so wrapped up in it. You're so into it. But I always say it's like doctors who deliver babies. Like when you're having a baby, like that's the biggest day of somebody's life. The doctor does that all day, gets lunch after. Like to you, this is the most crazy thing. We're a little bit like, okay, we've seen this before. Don't worry. Trust me. We've seen this thousands of times. So that's another good thing about coaching.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're interested in learning about it, I have a link below to learn about Chris's packages. If you have questions about them, always feel free to reach out to either one of us before you decide and say, hey, is this appropriate for me? Because not every situation is, right? But and we'll let you know. We don't want to work with a situation that we don't think we can actually benefit you from. Reach out if you have any questions. As always, leave us a comment below. Let us know what you thought. And also, Chris and I love doing these type of videos. So if there's a topic that you really want to hear us cover, just leave a comment, because we're always looking for new ideas or frustrations or things guys are struggling with that we can create a video around and give some value. Thanks for joining me, Chris, and we will talk to you guys soon.